Hello, everyone. I hope you're all good and doing fine and learning and staying safe. And today we are going to start with a new chapter, the living organisms and their surroundings. So, as you see, we'll be talking about the living organisms and surroundings. That means we basically are talking about the environment. Okay, and you guys have learned a lot about the environment, the different type of forest, the different type of ecosystems, right? Starting from the fourth standard, right? So we're going to be moving forward with this one. So obviously we'll be learning in this entire chapter, we'll be learning about what is habitat, what is a terrestrial habitat or the aquatic habitat, or how exactly the different adaptations are taken up by the organisms in order to acclimatize with the environment, right? That is for the entire chapter. But now for this particular session, we'll be learning about the introduction first of all, which you guys already know, I'm pretty sure, and the habitat and the adaptations, the habitat of the organisms, what exactly it is and how do organisms adapt to it. Next we'll be learning about the different terrestrial ecosystems or the environments which are found. Okay, now let's move forward. First of all, you should know what an environment is and what are the different components of the environment, right? And after that, we'll be moving forward to the adaptations. It is very important to you that you understand the definition of the environment as it is going to be there in the exam for. So, in very simple words, if we talk about the environment, environment is the surrounding, or let's say the conditions in which a person or an organism or a plant lives or operates, or kind of stays and flourishes or proliferates. And if we talk about this in the terms of another simple language, another simple process, it just basically is the natural world, okay, as a whole, in the particular, the geographical area, the climate, the weather, everything which is affecting the organisms which are living. All right. So that is what an environment is. So I'm just going to write that down here for you. What is environment? Environment is the conditions in which an organism an organism lives, right? Or surroundings of an organism, right? Now that being said, we're going to move forward to the what different kind of components do the environment possess, right? You see, environment has basically is like it is made up of the physical components, biological components, and the culture. Culture basically is for the sake of human beings, all right? Not exactly to all the organism, but the human beings or the organisms which are evolved enough to make a society of it. Okay, so moving to the physical part of the environment, we have three major components: atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. Atmosphere concerns the gases which are present, okay? Hydrosphere concerns the water bodies which are present, whereas the lithosphere, it concerns the terrestrial part, the land part. All right. So we have these three components, physical components, which make up the environment. And next we have the biological components. We have the abiotic and the biotic. Abiotic is going to have the water, wind, mountains, rivers, streams, soil, right? Which is very, very easy for you to learn. And for the biotic, we're going to have the organisms. And those organisms, they are divided into three parts. We have the producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are the ones which produce the food. For example, the plants, they make the food with the help of the solar energy and the process which is called as the photosynthesis. On the other hand, consumers are the ones which basically consume the food, right? The herbivores, right, which basically depend upon the plants, and the carnivores, which basically depend upon the other animals' flesh, okay? The non-vegetarian animals, the lion and tiger and all of those. And then decomposers. Decomposer could be ranging from bacteria to the fungi, basically the saprophyte or the saprotroph, which go ahead and grow on the dead and decaying animals and plants, draw their nutrition from the dead bodies, and help in decomposing or digesting those dead bodies into the simpler substances so they could be mixed into the soil properly and all the nutrients and everything could be given back to the soil, right? Which was very, very important. Next thing is the culture. Now, cultural part of the environment is the society, basically how we live in, what is expected out of us if we're living in a society, right? What kind of manners should we have? How, what kind of person we should be, right? How exactly we should be following the societal or the government rules to make the world a better living place, or the economy, as in, the monetary things that are there, and the politics, which you are all are aware about nowadays, right? Everybody has heard of the impeachment of the Trump, and then again elections and winning of the Joe Biden, and all of those things which are going on, right? So these cultural things could be concerning with the humans. Or another example, if I give you bees, okay, bees also have the cultural difference. Not exactly they're gonna have this economy or politics, but they can have a society which can have the drones which go ahead and do the outside work, which are the male bees. We have the worker bees which take care of the queen bee, right? So these are the things which could be making up an environment. Now that we are briefed about the environment and the components, we're going to move forward to the habitat and the adaptations, right? You see, habitat is where the organisms live naturally, where they proliferate naturally. Now, it is very common for you to get confused between the habitat and the environment, but listen to this: habitat is the part of an environment, whereas environment is a big, big term. It is a composite term for everything which is found on the planet. Okay, so the surroundings where the plants and animals live is called their habitat. Okay, you can add the word natural surroundings, all right, in order to make sure that we are talking about the natural habitat. See, apart from that, you should be aware about the different kind of factors, that not only single animal or the single plant is to be found at one place. Okay, there are always going to be multiple animals and multiple plants at the places. Okay, and for them to survive in such a competition, they have got to adapt to the different conditions which are thrown at them in their habitat. Okay, so adaptations basically are what? The habits which are changed by the animals or the plants, or the different type of characteristics or the features which are acquired by the animals or the plants, are the ones which are called as the adaptations. Why? Because they help in the better surviving of the animals or the plants, right? For example, if I give you the example, we can have the plants, right? Plants, they basically grow apart from each other. Okay, they grow at distances from each other, so that they do not have to compete with each other for the sake of water or sunlight or the minerals which are present. Apart from that, we have another adaptation. For example, deer. Okay, deer is able to move and run fast. Now, this adaptation of the deer is very, very helpful in saving itself from the predators such as the lion, cheetah, etc., etc. Right? Now, we are going to moving forward to the different type of the terrestrial environments which are found on the planet. We'll be talking about the deserts. We'll be talking about the rainforest, etc., etc. Right? So starting from the terrestrial biome, we have the desert from the first thing that we are going to start. Okay, understand this thing. Desert are the type of environments or the ecosystems which are found in over 20% of this Earth's area, Earth's land. Okay, and there are different type. There could be hot, there could be semi-dry, there could be very, very dry, there could be coastal. Okay, coastal deserts are also there. For example, the Sahara Desert. There could be cold deserts there, right? For example, the Arctic desert. There are different type of deserts which are scattered into the continent and the world, and they're gonna have the animals like what? The rattlesnake, or the desert rat, right? Or the camel, for that matter, or the lizards. There are different type of animals as well which are found in the deserts. And don't you worry about it. We'll be learning about the adaptation shown by all the kinds of animals. Okay? Don't worry about it. Then the rainforest. Rainforests are the type of forest which are found at the equator. Especially they are found in the South America. Okay, they are found in the Southeast Asia. Okay, they are the woodland. Okay, woodland where all the different kind of woods are found. As in, they have large, big, huge trees because they have so much rainfall and they are always hot and humid, and that is the optimum temperature for the plants to grow. And they're evergreen, that means their leaves are never falling off. They have the same temperature and environment throughout the year. Okay, and they have a continuous canopy. What is a canopy? If we move around in a forest, you'll find that the trees are growing, and the trees will have a constant strata, or the constant let's say roof like structure, roof made up of leaves, made up of leaves, which is called as the canopy, right? And these are the these are the rainforest, right? Apart from that, these rainforests have vast diversity of the organisms which are living in them, as they are so resourceful. They are plenty, there's a plenty of food, there's plenty of water, there's plenty of space to live, right? And then we have the terrestrial grasslands. Grasslands, on the other hand, are the type of areas where trees are either not found at all, or if they're found, they're seldom found. Okay, only a few trees are found, and multiple grasslands are found in the Africa. A lot of grasslands are found in the Africa. Now, they could be natural, they could be semi-natural, they could be agricultural. Okay, agricultural grasslands are the ones which basically are formed on the abandoned agricultural area, abandoned area, right? On the other hand, the semi-natural grasslands are the ones which were natural first, but later on the agricultural area surrounding those was also abandoned, and the grass grew into them. So different type of grasslands are also found. Okay, now see, we have mostly the kind of animals in the grasslands which are short, which are stout, and which are very, very fast in order to defend themselves, or the grazing animals such as the bison and the buffaloes and elephants, etc., etc., right? Then we have the Tundra region. Tundra region is cold. Actually, it's like really, really cold. Okay, and it's a treeless plain. Tundra is also a treeless plain and is very, very cold. And it started from the word tunturi, which is also very easy to learn, right? Tunturi. Also, apart from that, the tundra region is super cold, and since it is super cold and it is treeless, the area, the let's say land which is found there is mostly the mountains. Okay, and since those are the mountains and less number of trees, it is quite obvious that only grass will be growing there, and the kind of grass will also be, let's say, will be very poor because of the poor nutrients which are found in the soil. And also the short growing region will be there, right? The short summers will be there. Summers will be very short because these are the mountains and they basically have a very cold climate, right? All the dead organic material which is found there is the only source of the nutrient pool. If an animal is dying, only that animal is responsible for providing the nutrient to the soil. Otherwise, there is no there is no particular point. Okay, as there is no trees and whatsoever. And the next thing that I have up my sleeve for you is the mountain region, the terrestrial mountain region, okay, and the adaptations as well. Now, we'll be watching a super cool video over it, but then again, before that, we're going to move forward with the definition which is provided to us. The animals which live on the land and do all their biological activities on the land, for example, the reproduction, living, right, and predation, eating, everything which is related for an organism in order to live, all of that when is done onto the land are called as the terrestrial animals. Okay, and then we have multiple type of actually terrestrial animals, but we have the two major types. We have the cursorial and the fossorial. Cursorial are the ones which live in the open places and are adapted to run on the hard ground. For example, we have the lions and we have the leopards leopards, etc., etc. And then we have the fossorial animals, which have adapted to the burrowing mode of life, that is the rat or the rabbit or the fox, etc., etc. And now we are going to look onto a very cool video in order to understand all the different kind of adaptations of the different organisms. All right. All right, here we are starting with the video, okay?
Oceans and fresh water are different habitats found on Earth. The habitats found on land are the mountains, deserts, grasslands, forests, and habitats on land. Mountains are among the coldest and most harsh habitats. These are mostly treeless regions. These regions are covered with snow almost all the year round.
Remember when we were talking about the tundra region? Now moving forward.
Mostly low-lying plants with small flowers sometimes grow in these regions in between rocks. The Himalayan blue pine is a pine tree that grows on the mountains. Most animals like the yak, mountain sheep, and mountain goat grow long, thick coat of fur and store fat under their skin to keep their bodies warm. The feet of mountain goats and mountain sheep are well suited for climbing steep and rocky slopes.
Now see, that was all about the mountain region. So when we are talking about the mountain regions, we basically are talking about how exactly the animals are adapted to the cold climate and the lack of food and the climbing mountain. On the other hand, how the plants are found, plants that are found are very, very short and stout, and they are well adapted of growing in between the rocks because there's a nutrient poor soil. Okay. And now we're going to learning about the next habitat. So moving forward.
Terrestrial habitats mainly include grasslands, deserts, and rainforests. Grasslands are very flat and open lands that are mostly covered with tall grasses. These are regions that get more rain than a desert, but not enough for forests to grow. They are a natural habitat of big animals like rhinos, elephants, giraffes, zebras, lions, and hyenas, as well as grazing animals like deer and gazelles. Camouflage. Animals like lions, tigers, and leopards hide from their prey. Lions and tigers sit quietly between the tall, dry grasses so that they are not visible. Their body coats blend with the dry and tall grasses. Leopards sit on the branches of trees. They hide in this way so that they can attack their prey that passes from below the tree.
Now, the one that we learned about was the grassland, how organisms are well adapted for the sake of the protection and for the sake of predation. They are camouflaging with the help of the color of their fur and the tactics of, sitting quietly into the grass and doing all of that stuff. Okay. And all the other animals, which are basically the herbivores animal, which have their diet based upon the grass, are also found on the grasslands on the grasslands. Okay. So now we have the deserts. Moving forward.
Deserts are dry lands that receive very less or no rainfall. Desert animals, therefore, need special features that would keep their bodies cool and help survive using less water. A camel is well adapted to live in deserts because it can survive without food and water for days. Camels store fat in the hump, not water. The fat provides them energy. Since desert winds blow sand all around, so a camel has long eyelashes. The long eyelashes keep sand out of the camel's eyes. Thick eyebrows shield the eyes from the desert sun. Camels have nostrils that can open and close. The nostrils are closed when strong winds blow, so that sand doesn't get up its nose. The wide, spreading toes keep camels from sinking into the sand, and the thick sole protects from the hot desert sand while walking. Watch the cacti of the Thar
I hope you're writing everything down, okay?
Desert. Plants like cacti growing in deserts have also adapted ways to store large amounts of water by special means. Cacti are one such type of plants that store a lot of water in their hollow stems.
That was all about the desert, and the next thing that we have is about the rainforest.
The rainforests are regions that get a lot of rain all the time. They have thick vegetation of tall trees that grow very close together to form a thick canopy.
But what canopy was? The roof made up of leaves. Okay, so that thick canopy is responsible for hindering the sunlight from reaching the ground. Okay, moving.
Because of a thick cover of trees, not much sunlight is able to penetrate inside. Hence, the floor of rainforests are usually clear of plants. There are a diverse range of animals in rainforests, from tiny insects to large animals. This is due to sufficient water and a wide variety of food in the dense forests. Rainforests are populated with snakes, such as the king cobra, and other animals like monkeys, butterflies, termites, and pythons. These animals live on tall trees and forest clearings for most of the time. Different animals dwell at different layers of the rainforests. Human activities have spoilt the natural habitats to a large extent, thereby threatening the life of plants and animals that thrive there.
You see, there are different type of forests and the habitats, and you see here in this particular image how exactly the human activity has affected. All right. Now, that being said, we have finished today's lesson. It was fun with you people. I'll be coming back with more of this. Okay? Take care, have fun, stay safe.